Hey, what's up, beautiful Bellcast listeners? Welcome to another episode.
Ooh, that was nice.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do it again.
Episode.
That was nice.
Thank you.
If you guys aren't watching,
Wait, I didn't say who I am.
and if you guys aren't watching, that's Gio. And this is Bart.
I wanted to do it.
All right, then do it.
I'm Bart.
And I'm Bart. And you guys should see where we're at. We're actually at the old JK office doing our podcast. And we're just moving around. We're a nomadic family. And I like what Ma Bear was saying, where she was like, as long as us three are together, everywhere is home.
Yep. It doesn't matter. We can travel to fucking, I don't know, Utah and do a podcast out there. But as long as the Three Musketeers are chilling, then it's home.
Yeah,
for sure.
CUNY.
So what's up, baby?
What's up? I like this. I like that I could see you finally. Because when we're doing our podcast, usually at home in our freaking makeshift table, and yes, we are really focusing on revamping all that stuff. But when we're sitting there, I'm like facing this way, so I'm always like side eyeing you. Sometimes I don't get the full facial reaction, but this is actually really nice.
You like full facials?
On you, yeah.
Hey, what the fuck?
What?
I don't do that.
But I actually like this. I like, we've been kind of talking about how we want our podcast set up to be. Like, do we want it to be recliners, swivel chairs? Do we want it to be like couches? And I'm kind of enjoying that, like,
Oh, this little coffee table?
yeah, I'm able to just kind of see and talk to you face to face instead of like side talking like we're on a subway station or something, you know?
Yeah. I like it too. It's a really cool setup.
Yeah. Does this place bring you back memories? You haven't done JK in such a long time. Like, do you miss it or anything like that?
Do I miss it? What is it? Like just filming and stuff?
Yeah, just all of it. Like team dynamic, being in here, shooting funnies, like, because JK is a very, I think, group-oriented endeavor.
Yeah.
Versus Barbell Brigade, although it also is, your role in it being the CEO, I think a lot of times it's not as a team. It's more of a coach,
Yeah.
So like,
Oh, yeah.
The coach of the basketball team isn't in the locker slapping ass.
Yeah, no, you can't
He's
do that.
in the office running plays, checking people's stats. Oh, how many field goals did we shoot? How many fouls? That kind of stuff.
I saw this person's spirits were down or...
Yeah. Like, what? How come Iverson's not
Checking in with
playing like
people.
that anymore? It has something to do with divorce.
Yeah.
It's not like, let's slap ass and fucking ball grab,
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff.
Funny enough, I'm not the type of person, like I'm not like a fucking nostalgic ass bitch. You know what I mean? Like yes, there's a lot of nostalgia and this was such a beautiful time and phase in my life and it was so much fun. I don't really think about the old days. Like, yeah, being in here, I'm like, oh, that was fun, but I'm not sitting here reminiscing about shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, oh, I wish I could go back and like, oh man, those were the good old days, you know?
Do you keep old pictures around? Do you look at old pictures?
No.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
So when I show you pictures of Tycho when he's like 1, you're just like, get that fucking old shit out of here. I don't reminisce.
Well, that's different because you're sending it to me and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. And then but like for me to get the urge to go like, oh, let me just go back. Let me take a trip down memory lane and do that. Like,
you don't go, I wonder what happened in 2016. Or
never.
whatever.
I think I'm just so focused on like, what's next? That I don't ever really.
You're focused on the future.
Yeah, because I'm like, cool, that was so fun. I had so many good memories with that.
Yeah. And
I'm fortunate enough to be in a place where, or like in an era where everything we can document it and it gets stored.
Yeah.
So if I ever need to, I know it's there. So yeah, like I think I just have so many ideas and so many like things I want to experience in my mind that I'm always trying to think of, okay, what can we book next? Like, fuck, what experience can I get next?
Really? Have you ever done that? Or you're always
I've
like
always
this?
been this way.
Wow.
Always. Like, when have I ever pulled out like my old pictures or whatever? Like, I think when I probably showed you my old shit was probably because we just got together and I really wanted you to get to know who I am.
Have you ever read a shampoo bottle when you're taking a shit?
In a shit? No. But I have done it when I'm washing my hair.
Then you read the shampoo bottle?
The first time, yeah, because sometimes it's like
I'm talking about reading it for fun, not reading to see what you're supposed to do.
But that's not fun. No. I want to get out of the shower.
You're weird.
You're fucking weird.
You're fucking weird. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
What are you talking about? You read shampoo bottles just for fun, you fucking loser?
No, like, I reminisce a lot.
Really?
I mean, not as much anymore, but I remember like...
I've never done that.
Yeah, I remember like in I don't know, like let's say like 5th grade. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember at Chinese school. I don't go to Chinese school anymore. And I'll look at my old Chinese school pictures.
Never.
I'll look at that.
I've never done that.
Or I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, there's like photo albums in the house. I'm like, oh yeah, remember that Taiwan trip? And I'll go and I'll pull it out.
What?
And I would reminisce a lot. Yeah.
I've never done that.
Wow.
I've never had the urge to do that. Yeah, ever.
Maybe you just never had any good memories.
I mean, I feel pretty happy about all my past.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I just think it's really cool. And then, like, I love talking about shit. I love talking about stories.
Maybe no wonder that picture I got you doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean jack shit.
Wow. The one with the cross streets?
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what it
You're
is.
So abnormal, yeah.
What the fuck? You judgmental ass fucking
Yeah,
ass.
you're fucking weird.
Why? Why is that weird? I think I'm just so excited to live life.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I'm grateful for what I experienced. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I got all these tools from my past. Now, what can I do with these new tools? And I just want to keep moving forward.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty normal. Like, people's futures are based on the past.
And I'm not saying it's erased, but that's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about, the tools.
Yeah.
Like, what did I gain from that experience? Was it to love harder? Was it to be gentler? Was it to be more courageous? Was it to be, I don't know, ask more questions? Like,
Yeah.
what was the tool that I gained from that phase in my life? And I'm like, beautiful. I'm so grateful. I'm so, like, I don't carry any heaviness in my heart from the past ever. So it's not like something I'm trying to avoid.
When you're watching like a Christopher Nolan movie, do you go like, oh, it's the past. Ah, fuck. Stay in the fucking present.
Well, it's not that I don't like revisiting the past ever, because
Yeah.
I love sitting at a table and then we're all reminiscing about like, hey, remember that time that like Bart did that shit? Or
You just
hey,
don't want to
remember?
see that shit.
No, it's not that I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm just saying my mind doesn't go to like, oh, let me go back there. It never does that. Like I never want to go like, oh, what did we do back in like 2016? Like, let me go and sit there and stare at that. Like, if I have time to go and look at shit from the past, and I have time to do some shit right now, that's going to be fun.
You're the only person I know that gave Back to the Future 2 thumbs down.
I'm not saying I don't like going back to the past, but I'm just saying, like, if I'm going to use that time, then I'd rather do it where we're talking in a circle with friends and we're like, hey, remember when we first got together? Like, I love talking about our relationship and how we got together. Like, I love revisiting that shit. But do I sit there by myself and go, let me look at pictures of like when we first went to San Francisco? It's like, no, I was there. I remember.
Really?
Yeah. When have you ever seen me go back
what
in my...
about triggers though? Like, let's say for me, I'm going through my underwear drawer. I'm just like going through my day. I'm not even thinking about reminiscing about the past, right? But I pull out my socks. And then in my sock,
like warps you back.
There's a little hole there. I remember that hole. I remember playing
That's
soccer.
That's great. I love that.
And I just like and I kind of reminisce in that time. Do you do any of that stuff?
All the time.
Oh, okay.
All the time. Scents, locations, colors, songs. It will all take me back to like a moment in time.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, for me to like be sitting here and then go, oh man, I want to, like how you said, right? Where you're like, oh yeah, I remember I was like in Kung Fu school. Like, oh, let me go look at pictures of that. Like, that's just not what I do. I don't go, let me go look, like, it just stays in my brain.
So you enjoy the past,
I love
but you
it.
don't purposely seek it out.
No.
Then how come yesterday? 2 days ago, we drove by our old neighborhood and then we're like, fuck it, let's go inside.
Because I'm nosy.
Oh, so that's out of being nosy, not out of nostalgia.
Yeah. No, because I'm just like, oh, I wonder what that looks like.
I see. Yeah, for
But
me,
then
it was
now
out of
that
nostalgia.
I saw it,
yeah.
and then I saw that it didn't change, I'm like, okay, I don't think I have to ever do that again.
I would go back to all my neighborhoods all the time. Like,
You don't think I have
when
to
I
do
lived
that?
in Cerritos, I lived in 2 parts of it. When I moved to the second part, I would go back to my old street, Felsen. Shout out to everyone on Felsen.
Hey, Felsen, Cerritos.
All the time. And then when I moved to Almani, the 626, I would go back to the Cerritos house all the time, just check it out.
All the time? What's all the time? Like 3-4 times a week?
No,
What's all the time?
Like 3-4 times a year, maybe.
Well, okay. So this is also another, like, I guess, caveat to it is that I won't do it by myself. Like, because everyone
I'll do it by myself. I'll drive by myself.
Yeah,
just
that's
go
a waste
through.
of my time. Because I'm like, I can
Really?
just go do something really fucking cool at that time. I can go be with you. I can go, I don't know, get my nails done. I can go meet up with friends. I'd rather use that time for the now than go back and revisit some shit that I've
I
already
wonder
seen.
if this is a you thing or a girl thing.
Why would it be a girl thing?
Because I was just thinking about it. I'm like, this is very similar to pornography, where for guys, for us to have a fun time jacking off, we need the visual, right? So I think for us, like that's me like doing past masturbation. like, oh, let me go back to Cerritos and see what's going on, and then I pleasure my memories,
Yeah.
versus maybe
Stroke the brain.
Yeah, stroke the brain, stroke those wrinkles. But maybe as a girl, because you guys aren't visual people, maybe
But
you don't
girls are
need
usually
to.
the ones that like get all the pictures printed and they put it up, and they're the ones that are creating the scrapbooks and like
That's more being
that's old school now too.
But I think that's more in the moment of being sentimental. I think girls are thoughtful.
Oh, I'm also not sentimental either.
All right, so
I don't give a fuck.
maybe it's just you then, because it's probably you just weird.
Because there's chicks that do fucking month anniversaries, and I'm like, bitch, you're doing too much.
That just means they're losers.
They're not losers.
You're a straight up fucking loser.
They're
if
not
you do month
losers, they're
anniversaries,
just not-
You're a loser. You got too much
What if
time
they're
on
in
your
love?
hands. What? To do some real shit? Fucking cut your fucking blood, pour it in
How
a
do you cut
glass
your
of
blood?
wine.
Biology
fucking-
major. How do you cut your blood?
You go to your fucking arm and you cut the blood, okay? And then
You didn't say anything new instead of just
you cut the blood. Everyone knows it. You cut the blood.
All right.
And you freaking drip it in wine and you drink it. That's love.
What the fuck? That's some vampire shit.
No, don't fucking month anniversaries. That's fucking losers.
Well, I guess it's just me then. I've never been that way. Yeah, I don't.
Did you ever feel weird? Because I'm sure like you must have felt weird. Like you're an outcast.
I never thought about it like that before. No one ever made me feel weird.
Don't all your friends do that stuff? I mean, you have.
They do,
Your,
and I enjoy
your
it.
family's pictures are all over the place.
Yeah,
Someone
and I enjoy
did that.
it. I enjoy when someone else is presenting it to me, and I'm like, cool, we can have a conversation about that. Let's reminisce. I love it. It touches my heart. I love going to the past. But for me to go out of my way to do that is a waste of my time.
Damn.
I know. Like, ask me how many times I've looked at all of our old YouTube uploads, or like even scrolling back to like the pictures in my like IG fucking feed.
I don't do that because that's too recent. And then
Oh.
and now IG is like half work, half memories, right?
I see.
So I don't do that. But like stuff that's before that, or
Well, because I just see as IG being like the new photo album.
it is. But also looking at Taika as a baby, I love doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it. It's so cute.
I'm the mother. I understand that.
Yeah.
I don't do that. Like when you send them to me, I'm like, oh yeah, oh my God, he grew so much.
Yeah.
But after that, I'm just moving on. I love moving forward.
Damn.
And
that's crazy.
I'm not saying that people that like to look at shit in the past are moving backwards.
No, you're not saying that, but the people are calling you losers.
Yeah, fine, go ahead.
Yeah.
But this loser is fucking experiencing some cool shit and really looking forward to life and really enjoying her past.
But you just don't want to be thinking about it or marinating in it.
Well, thinking and marinating are different, right? Because I can still be moving forward and have these thoughts, because I can have multiple thoughts all at once. We all do that. But for me to like be sitting here and then going, you know what? I want to go back there.
Then
Let's
why
pull
do
this
you
up.
take pictures then? What's the point if you're never going to look at them again?
I really don't
What?
take pictures.
No, sometimes people, let's take a picture over here. I'm like, then what's the point of even
Because
doing
I'm
that?
thinking about possibly posting it, and then I never go around to posting
But there's
it.
also stuff that you don't even post that you,
I know.
that you took a picture for the memory. But
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you taking it for the memory?
Well,
if
because
you're
now
never
I
gonna
know
look
it's
at it
there.
again?
I don't know. I just know that it's there. Sometimes I know that the mind is faulty,
Yeah.
right? And like the memories are going to change and we're all going to remember shit differently.
Yeah.
So I will document it because I'm like, I remember this point, like this right here. I want to remember this forever. And who knows what's going to happen to my mind 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the line. So then I'll document it. But do I go back to look at it? No.
Dang. Never,
I know.
huh?
I don't know where it came from. Like I don't carry any negativity towards it. It's just I just don't feel the need to do that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I never see you do that either. Oh no, yeah, you do actually.
I just told you I drive back to
you're
Cerritos
right.
to jack
No,
off.
no, yeah, you're right. You do.
Yeah.
And you're the one that sends me, like I will rarely send you any pictures from the past. And if I do, it's because I'm probably doing like a throwback Thursday or fucking flashback Friday or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know? Or there's a reason for it.
Like one of my favorite things now with the iPhone is, they'll like tell you what
the
happened
day of?
exact same day.
Yeah.
I love it because it tells me, I don't even have to go back and look
But where does it show up?
on my
for you?
phone.
When? Like, oh, just like in your feed or something? 'Cause
Yeah, like
mine
a-
never pops up.
Oh, really? I don't know. Maybe that's a setting or something. But like, if I go on, like, let's say I'm going to go work out, I'm going to record a set. I click on my camera and I click on the, the bottom square and it pops up and it's immediately
Really?
same day,
Oh,
yeah.
you gotta show me.
Yeah, and it just pops up all the time. And I'm like, oh, and sometimes it even makes like a montage for me. I'm like, what the hell? So I just sit there and I just enjoy watching the whole thing.
What?
Yeah, they have like montage of like June 17, 2016 or something.
I would never. I don't know. I can't. I think I'd be like, okay, I'm over it. I need to move on.
Wow.
Okay. On that note, let's pause real quick because it feels very judgy in here. No, it doesn't feel judgy at all. I want to introduce our sponsor.
Shout out to our sponsor, Skillshare. If you don't know what Skillshare is yet, that means you haven't been listening to this podcast, so shame on you. But anyways, I'll still let you know what they're about because they're freaking awesome. They're an online learning community that offers membership with meaning. So you can learn about all kinds of creatives, not just how to do it, but even why you do it. And one of my favorite classes is called YouTube Success, Script, Shoot, and Edit with Marcus Brownlee. And what's freaking awesome about that is when we first came on to YouTube, we had to do all kinds of different trial and error, and we wasted a lot of time. We wasted a lot of money, but there's ways that you can minimize that now, and you can come out looking like a pro. You can have all kinds of knowledge before you even start your YouTube channel. And that's what Skillshare is about, because they have that for interior design, photography, videography, for all kinds of stuff. So make sure you go check that out. And that's why I love Skillshare. And advancing towards a goal should be achievable, short lessons and hands-on project. And that's what they are all about. Do something today that you couldn't do yesterday with classes designed for real life. And it's also incredibly affordable because the annual subscription is less than $10 a month. So you can learn so much, way cheaper than school if you ask me. Make sure you go explore your creativity at Skillshare.com/bail. That's BEAW, and get a free trial of the premium membership. That's Skillshare.com/bail, BEAW. Get a free trial of premium membership. We all got plenty of time on our hands right now, so let's level up.
And we are back.
Man, that's pretty interesting. It's crazy how we've been together for 13 years now. It's going to be our 13th year, and I still learn.
Is this for the 13th year?
Yeah, 2008. Oh my God.
Oh.
That's what you need to go back and study, some math. But it's crazy. I still learn new things about you.
Yeah.
Do you learn new things about me?
All the time. I don't know what the most recent one is. But I feel specifically on this podcast is when I learned the most about you. Because I think we're forced to have, well, now as parents, right? Like we can't really have uninterrupted dialogue.
Yeah.
It's like we just got to get out what we can when we can as quickly as we can before the fucking monkey dude interrupts everything.
Yeah.
Or we're just busy. So like having this quiet time, even like before bed, we tried to talk, but we're so fucking exhausted. We just need our like little small pocket of me time, which is usually like maybe 30 minutes. So you can't really get too deep in that.
This is actually like the closest thing we did to a date, I feel like.
This is considered a date?
I mean, kind of. You know, when you think about when you first date people, right, in the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to do different things, right? You're trying to do different things, different environments to trigger conversations.
To pull shit out of them.
Yeah. Picnic. Or you go watch the sunset. You go to a waterfall and you sit there and you talk and you're like, oh, you know what? Like this is what happened to me when I was at camp or whatever. And you just talk about those things. And like, we've done all those things, right? We've been together 13 years. We've been all over the world. We've tried different food. Like everything is literally a conversation starter to get to know each other better.
Yeah.
And then so we've done all of that. Well, and we got to the point where we know that we're going to be each other's life partners. But it doesn't end there. You know, you still want to continue to learn because people also continue to evolve. Yeah. But we just don't have that much time because of Taika and commitments or whatever. So I think this, by us talking, it kind of, the conversation itself triggers more things. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you just saying that like really kind of like melded an idea for me right now of the importance of you living life separately. And not like long periods of time, but like having your separate groups of friends or at least hobbies. And doing shit on your own to bring back to that relationship. Because I've heard that before and I understood-ish. I understood what they were getting at, right? Because now it's like you guys have new things to talk about and it kind of like reinvigorates the relationship. Because when you're doing everything together, there's really nothing to talk about because the other person was there, right? And you could probably talk about perspective slightly, but if you guys are like you and I, we're very similar people when it comes to like principles, ideology, beliefs. We could look at we could see a situation, look at each other, and we already know where we stand, right? But like, because we do so much shit together and we've been together for so long, I can see why relationships get stale.
Yeah, the older I get, the more I see the world as like the yin yang symbol.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like literally everything has like the dark and the light to it. You know?
Absolutely.
Like when we first got together doing JK, we're like, you know, my favorite term is koala bears, because I love that two koala bears are stuck together and doing everything in the world, right? And then, so that's what we're doing. We're doing JK together, barbell together and everything. And then the cool thing about that, which is I guess the light part of it, is that we're stuck together and we live the same life, which is awesome. But the opposite end of it is...
Well, we go through trials and tribulations together. And we have each other.
Yeah. So there's all that. There's all those pros of that.
Yeah.
The problem is during that whole period, there's no real personal growth. You know, so like, because you still need your own personal growth where you're evolving on your own or developing your own tastes or whatever, right?
That's why it's called personal growth?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I think there's relationship growth, there's personal growth.
I know, I'm fucking with you.
And then there's like...
he doesn't care.
No,
Good for you.
And then like, let's say you spend long times apart, right? Like the extreme of that would be like long distance relationship or people that get deployed. They all have a ton of personal growth. They have 6 months of stories.
The relationship
they come back, but
but
the bond isn't as strong.
Yeah.
And like even with you know, like talking about business stuff, there's the monetization model and then the growth model, right? Like the growth model is put all the content out there for free, like on YouTube or whatever, right? So you can get mass appeal. The minute you have an app or you have something behind a paywall, you limit the growth, but you're able to monetize finally. You're able to, and it's almost like every single thing is like a push-pull like that. Like stuff that gets played on TV is going to have way more eyeballs on it than a movie that's behind a paywall. And it's just a constant like driving of stick of like gas and clutch. And when I was younger, I think, you know, you live in a more idealistic world. So you think you're like, okay, everything's got to be like this.
Right.
But then when I got older, then I realized, well, actually there's pros and cons to each thing. And then when I got even older than that, I'm like, oh shit, the real way to experience life is to actually do that cyclically. Like it's not just black or white. It's actually black, white. That's the best way to, at least at my age now, that's what my new thought process is. Although maybe in another 5-10 years, I might have a new like epiphany.
Yeah, maybe. I don't define it the way you just did with the whole yin and the yang.
Probably wrong then.
No, but I
only see things the right way, so.
Yeah, sure. But for me, it's more, I think the older I've gotten, like you, I always thought everything was like, you know, it's a straight arrow.
Yeah, it's got to be this way.
Yeah. Like it has to go that way. And it's obviously because we grow up in a fucking house, right? With our parents. Our parents are the lawmakers. They're the presidents, the kings, the queens, the rulers of our world.
Yeah.
And that's all we get to see, right? Some of us are fortunate enough to like get to travel and just have eye-opening experiences where now they can draw from and they gain this wisdom. But the older we get, the more people we interact with, the more we're vulnerable, the more we stay open to experiences, the more we get these tools that we can learn like, oh shit, this works, this doesn't work. Or the world is a yin and a yang. It's a give and a take. It's a white and a black, you know, like a dark and a light, an up and a down, right? Like they're just opposites that coexist and it works. But for me, I'd never really defined it that way. It's been more like you kind of just have to roll with it. Like you have to be open to any and all possibilities. And the more you resist and the more you really try to steer it back to like that straight edge that we once were comfortable with or we knew, is when shit gets really fucked up.
But I even see that still through my lens.
See what?
The what you're talking about. So the way that I see that, that's the balance between comfort and discomfort, or the balance between control and uncontrol.
Yeah.
So for me, I still think in order to get the most out of life, you should have periods of comfort and periods of discomfort, periods of control and periods of chaos. And I think it's always like, because like, you know, like when we're comfortable now, right? Like we feel like all of our business have good foundations and it's kind of stable. But then that's the death of growth. That's the
Right.
death of business. That's the death of whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I think in the near future, we got to like do something, right? And I've been talking about books or whatever else we got to do. Boom, white belt again, you know? And then when you white belt, you get to black belt and you kind of cruise again a little bit. And then you got to go, no, it's time to do another white belt to get more out of life. And so I still view it as like everything has to have, you always got to have that. I'm a beginner, getting crushed, getting my ass handed to me, but I learned so much. And then you become a master again.
That's really cool.
Because even it's like that with training.
Yeah.
You know, I realize like there's times with periods of time where you train, and you're training for a meet or you're training to do whatever. And then you accomplish the goal. And then afterwards, you kind of lose a sense of self because you're doing it so much for the goal. And then later on, you're like, well, fuck it. I'm going to just do it for myself. And you start training for yourself.
And then now that gets stolen.
And then you're like, wait.
What? Why am I doing all this?
Yeah, what is this adding up to? You know, and you're like, oh, cool, let me set a goal again. And then before, I used to view things like this. Like if I was a little bit younger, I'd view it like, oh man, this person's so wishy-washy. They go from setting things for themselves and then not doing it for themselves again, and then like trying to lose weight and then not to lose weight. Like I would view people as like wishy-washy because like, I think when you're younger and more naive, you just think a straight line. And then now, where I'm at now, I'm like, oh, that's how you get the most out of training. You want to do it for yourself sometimes because you learn some things. And then you want to do it for a bigger goal sometimes. And then you want to do it for other people sometimes. Or you want to do it, like there's that period of time where you're training with your mom in the garage and it wasn't even for you. It's just, how do I get my mom on board? You know, and there's that kind of satisfaction. And then there's things like and insights that you learn that you now take into your own. And I'm just like, oh, shit, like being wishy-washy, but with a purpose is and intentionally wishy-washy, going dark and light. That's kind of like how you get the most out of life.
Yeah, that's what I mean about rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
You call it wishy-washy. I'm just saying like rolling, like just rolling.
Yeah. But I'm also saying like, but rolling with the punches, I'm also trying to be a little bit more intentional with it. We're recognizing it is time to change.
Yeah.
And then so we're still the captain of making that change rather than always rolling with the punches where I'm always just adapting. I think it's important to self-adapt too. We're like, hey, this couch is getting kind of comfy.
Yeah.
Time to get up, you know?
What's really cool about like this universe that we live in is when you're too comfortable, or when something feels too comfortable and you're not purposely or in control of making it uncomfortable for yourself, the universe will make it uncomfortable for you.
Really? Like how so?
Absolutely. Like if you notice when something
like the couch cushions flatten out? Sure,
we can go with that, right? Like in the beginning, you love it. It's a new thing. You can't wait to use it. The more you use it without maintenance, it's just going to have wear and tear. And eventually, if you see these little wears and tears and you don't go, oh shit, it's time to reupholster, or it's time to move it out of the sun, or it's time to like not have the kid step on it, or like if you're not making changes that are making you uncomfortable, then the springs are going to start popping out. The cushioning is going to start coming out, and it forces you to change. Right? So we can either have the universe force us to change, and it's usually really fucking extreme.
Or you do it yourself.
Or you do it yourself. Like when you start seeing patterns of like wear and tear and things just not happen, like these are signs saying like, yo, you got to change some shit. If you don't change it, it's going to be really bad. So a lot of us will, and if you don't know how to spot that, then what's going to continue to happen, it's like the universe is still trying to say, hey, you got to change. So like, the same problem will occur, but in different forms.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking nuts. When you can see it, you're just like, psh.
Yesterday on JK News, we were talking about like pooping and stuff. And I don't know if you've ever done this, but I brought this up and no one else has ever done it but Nick. Have you ever edged your butthole?
Give me some more. Like on purpose? Details.
Oh, okay. So for example, yesterday.
Yeah, like if I'm having a good time, I could feel a turtle head or whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna try to hold it or whatever.
No, that's not edging your butthole.
Oh, what the fuck?
There's no incentive. So
give me some more then.
Some more what?
Some more details, motherfucker.
I know, just kidding. I thought you wanted more pleasure. So like yesterday, for example, I pound caffeine in the morning to train, right?
Oh, you did what to the caffeine?
Pounded it hard. Pounded
did
it
like
real
it?
hard.
Was it fast or
No,
slow?
I didn't even want it.
Oh.
Yeah. No, so I pounded caffeine like crazy, right? To train. And then I had the kind of bubble gutsy, time to have diarrhea feeling. And then I I see a straight path to the bathroom, right? But I'm like, that's too comfortable. Just straight path. I don't have to like hop over a riverbed. I don't have to go through a fucking shaky like twine bridge. So I purposely walk slower so my butthole knows how privileged it is that I can poop wherever I want. And then so I purposely walk slower while I have sweat dripping down my forehead because my butthole is not happy with me. I get to the bathroom. I sit on the toilet and oh man, my butthole wants to spit. It wants to spit bars. But I sit there and I go,
wants to bust
nope.
an Eminem.
Yeah, and I sit there and I'm like, nope. You're so fucking ungrateful. You don't even know how good you have it. So I sit there and I count to 10. I'm like, I know you want to go now. You don't get to get what you want. You're gonna have to wait a 10-second delay, and then after I do it, and then because of that, I feel like a much more like rewarded experience. Like it feels more satisfied, and I actually edge my butthole, or I edge a lot of things. A lot.
Where does that come from? Why do you do that to yourself?
I think that's what I was going with. I think that whole comfort thing, where you know how you're saying like if you don't make yourself uncomfortable, the universe will hand it to you.
But what's the goal? Like, what are you trying? So it's the privilege. I mean, obviously your butthole doesn't know that it's taking shit for granted.
It does know. It does know. I think it's that. I think it's like me checking my privilege, or I don't know, like me checking my first world privilege. I don't know what the word is, but I think for me, I always feel like this feeling of like,
feels?
Why do you have to? yeah. I always like.
I always have this feeling of feels.
Yeah. No, it's like why do you get to be so comfortable? Like, why do you get to have things your way? Like, who the fuck are you? Do you ever feel that? Like, let's say, for example, like...
Yeah, but not with my shit. Like and I think for my shit, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm so...
you actually shit yourself.
No, because I'm so good at... I can't fart in public. You will never hear me fart on purpose. So I'm so good at holding it in that I'm scared that it won't come out until like another 2-3 hours. Like once it needs to go, I'm like, oh fuck, I need to act fast because... then I won't need to go for the next fucking 2 days.
Here's another thing I edge. Let's say you're just chilling, right? And all of a sudden you get those scratch attacks.
I do that.
You get that like weird part on your back. Oh fuck, that fucking itches. You have to scratch it. I'm like, why do you get to have what you have?
I don't think about it like that.
And I go, no, we're gonna let it itch a little bit longer.
I guess what you're talking about is what I refer to mind over matter.
Yeah, or like sand in the eye, right? Sand hits you in the eye. You go, oh fucking pour water. I'm like, why? Chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like you don't get to have it right now. Why do you get to have everything you want right away? Like why are you so, I don't know, high and mighty?
I don't talk down to myself like that. For me, what I'll do is I'll create.
I don't think I'll talk down to myself.
For sure you're talking down to yourself.
I think I'm just doing a reality check. Like there's so many people in the world that don't get this right now. Why do you get this shit?
Okay, well I don't think about it globally like that then. I think about it more as just being able to control myself when I call upon it, right? Because then I'll think of different situations where an itch, for example, might be a detrimental thing for me. Like let's say
you're held hostage or something.
I'm hiding from someone, right? They're like trying to, this is why we're a fucking couple. We're weird people. Like they came into my house.
I like memories.
Fine. Like they bust into my house and then I'm like in this tiny little fucking nook of the house and I'm like, fuck, I can't make any sound. And then there's like an itch that I have. I'm like, oh shit, but I better be able to fucking control that bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I practice.
Why do you talk down yourself for?
No, I'm not talking down to myself.
All right,
I'm just saying like, hey, if there's a fucking burglar, a rapist burglar, then you need to learn how to like control yourself.
A rapist burglar?
Yeah, he wants my jewelry and my pussy.
Damn, your jewelry and your pussy?
I mean, he's a very ambitious guy.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's the same type of training. But I see it as like...
you do it though.
I do mind over matter all the time.
So you call it mind over matter?
Yeah.
Because I call it edging because I still end up giving in, but I still want to get like if I have that.
I will try not to get
If I have an itch attack, I'm gonna scratch it.
No, I'll try not to.
But I'll wait a little bit. Or like sand in the eye, like I don't know, for an hour is probably not good. Probably can cut up your lens or something, you know?
I mean, if it's like that, yeah. But if it's an itch, I'm like, let me see if I can just make it go away. And then I just sit there and it's itchy as fuck, and then I'm like, oh, cool, it went away. Wow. You've never like stuck it through? Because it goes away.
Diarrhea is coming out no matter what.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about like an itch.
Oh, I'm talking about all of it.
Diarrhea, it depends. Like there's times where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hold this shit.
And it goes
because
away?
I have to. Yeah. And then eventually it obviously has to come out, but I'm able to just buy myself some time. How many times have I been like, you're like, okay, is this an emergency? Where I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom, and you're like, is it an emergency? Like if we're on the road or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, I think I can hold it for another hour. Like I can feel it like going like in my butt going, whoa, 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 whoa. But I'm like,
is that liquid diarrhea or like semi?
Sometimes I don't know.
Damn. Shit.
Sometimes I don't know.
Sometimes I my diarrhea is crazy. Like look.
I think so's mine.
Sometimes I look, right? I know what I ate, but then I dookie and it's like autumn leaves. Have you seen autumn leaves in your shit?
Yeah, well, I think it's the acids in your fucking stomach. Aren't you a bio major?
No, but autumn leaves, like fucking like brown maple leaves.
That makes sense.
With veins and shit.
That makes sense.
I don't ever eat a maple leaf.
Okay, now that's a problem. If you're not eating fucking leafy greens.
I look at my shit and I'm like, did I eat fucking Halloween? Why does it look like this?
Well, I mean, did you consume a leafy something? Did you consume it?
A fucking like shades of red and golden? No.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
What?
I'm asking, did you at least consume that? Do you remember consuming? We'll talk about spinach.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't remember consuming the fall.
Yeah, and I think, no, not the color, goddammit, the fucking vegetable.
I'm looking at the whole thing.
And I know, I'm not talking about what you're talking about. I'm talking about what I want to talk about.
What are you trying to talk about?
Just answer my goddamn question.
Okay, what is it?
Did you consume a leafy green?
Who knows? Maybe.
Okay, if you don't recall and then it comes out, then there's a problem. But if you did eat it green and it comes out like Halloween, that makes sense to me.
I ate whatever I ate, and sometimes I go and I look in the toilet and I'm like, I should have bought a canvas and just shit on the canvas because it looks like an autumn watercolor. There would have been a beautiful sunset, a tree full of red leaves, fucking leaves on the ground that are golden brown. It just looks crazy.
I mean, it makes sense. Your stomach is there and it has all the fucking fluids.
It makes sense if it's corn. You eat corn and corn comes out. You're like, okay, cool, I ate that. But I've never ate like the fucking changing of seasons.
No, but the fucking colors change depending on what chemicals in your fucking stomach. Or what other food was already in there to begin with. Like you could have had beets 24 hours before you had
the leaves though.
I understand, you freaking schmuckatelli. Let me just finish.
Oh, okay, fine.
I'm just saying you could have had beets that was already sitting in your fucking, I don't know, gut. And then now this new shit travels through it, goes through your intestines and shit, and it rubs and it changes color. Like there's so much reasoning for it. That makes sense to me. But if you're, I don't even know why we're having, like, why am I so heated?
Because you don't have any memories to calm me down. So you're always in the present all pissed. That's why.
I have a lot of memories. That's not what, don't misinterpret what I'm saying.
You're thinking about the angry future is what you're thinking about.
I'm not. It's just, you're not listening to me.
I always listen to you.
No, you don't. What color are my eyes?
Probably purple.
Because they're not green because I'm pissed, or red.
No.
Yeah, well, no. I've had, remember that time that I looked at my shit and I thought I had worms?
Yeah. What was that all about?
I don't know. I guess I never really examined my shit. And I guess when I examined it, there was just like stringy shit on there. Not stringy shit, but like something stringy. Then I'm like, oh my God. And it was moving, but I didn't realize that when the bowl's sitting there, sometimes the water can still
keeps coming out, yeah.
It keeps coming out, but you don't see it because it's such a thin sheet of it.
Yeah.
So it's like moving all your stuff around that's in the bowl. So then I probably had like a noodle or like a leafy green, and it could just be the stem.
Or maybe you shared a paper towel with Tyson.
Maybe. Yeah, so I looked at it and I had never seen anything like that. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I didn't have worms. I did go to the emergency room and the fucking nurse was a bitch.
The doctor was laughing at you.
He did. He fucking was like, he didn't even check anything.
Because you were freaking the fuck out.
I wasn't freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, you were.
Okay,
to go to the
explain
emergency room. Okay, if you bypass your primary care,
freaking the fuck out
to get
me
a
is someone.
No. If you normal people that aren't freaking the fuck out, you go to your primary care physician, and if and you set
Well,
an
if you
appointment.
have worms,
you
if you have a fucking parasite in you, you
set
should
an
freak the
appointment.
fuck out.
You're like, you know what? I can go next Thursday. That's perfectly fine.
I'm not trying to edge a fucking parasite.
So you go on Thursday, then you tell your doctor your problem, and then your doctor goes, okay, cool, let me refer you. Like that, it'll take a week or two because it's not a problem. But
it's a potential parasite. It is a problem.
When
what
you go to the emergency room,
they multiply very quickly, my dude.
When you go in the emergency room and there's a guy with a gunshot wound, then the other person with a baby's head sticking out, and you're comparing yourself to them. Hey, don't look at them first. Look at me first. That's a sense of urgency. So we went to the ER.
I'm not saying look at me first. I'm just saying look at everyone in the order in which you deem.
I know. So I'm glad that they treated the freaking all the war victims. They helped them out. And
that's a good hospital.
And they helped out the other 10 ladies that had a half
It's not to me to filter.
Half birth babies. They helped all of them out.
Good. I'm happy they did that.
There's another 7 people that got ran over by a semi truck, and they put them all together. And then they finally saw you. And then the doctor was like.
And I was happy to wait 10 hours.
And then, and then the doctor was like.
Did you eat out of a trash can?
Yeah, have you ate out of a trash can?
Well, he was like, did you visit a third world country? Nope.
Have you put any cock in your mouth recently?
I said, not that I recall.
Have you ate out of a trash can?
No.
And she goes like, you probably don't have worms.
And I was like, thank you very much. That's all I needed here, sir. And then I left.
Yeah. And then you had this whole gown on the whole time. You had the fucking thing.
No, I didn't. You're so exaggerated. Why would I?
You had an IV.
I did have the IV.
And then you're in a wheelchair and you're like, oh,
I was on a stretcher. I wasn't on a wheelchair.
I can't feel my legs. And you had a full on
They took x-rays too. Wait, no, that was for my knee.
And you had fucking gauze bandages around your eyes. And you're like, I can't even see.
I did ask her to put my arm in a sling just to like make it extra dramatic.
Yeah.
And then I purposely took off my underwear so when I walked to go get x-rays, like it looked very dry. And I kept the socks on though, the compression socks.
Yeah.
A must.
And that's the whole time I thought it was so funny.
Was
and then
fucked up.
And as soon as the doctor said all that, you just looked at me and you're like, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Because you already knew what I was going to say because I was like.
Yeah, because you're trash.
No, the
you're
whole
not a supportive.
time. The whole time I was like, you don't have worms, you don't have worms, you don't have worms.
No, you did not say that. You were like, I don't know. You're like, let's go see. I'm like, you're fucking useless, dude. I thought you
I'm not a doctor. What the fuck?
Then why? Thank you that you said that. Why would I believe then you don't have worms, they don't have worms, they don't have worms?
Because
you're not a doctor.
I'm a professional.
A professional clown.
I'm just a pro.
At pissing me off.
No, that's it. I'm a pro. I'm literally an expert when I am.
No, your rule. Okay, this is what Bart says. His rule is when he gives you information, don't ask any follow-up questions because he's not going to know.
Because I'm a fucking pro. I'm not a philosopher.
Do you know what a pro is?
Yes.
What's a pro?
A professional. I'm fucking.
What makes a professional a professional?
I'm a professional.
What makes them a professional?
So if you're just a professional, you're not pro at it. You're amateur. But I'm so good at fessing that I'm a professional. I'm professional.
You're professing?
Yeah, other people are just amateur fashions.
Before we get divorced on this podcast, I do want to wrap it up and say thank you to everyone that has made it this far. I really appreciate you. I love you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. And also thank you to our sponsors. And thank you to our sponsor, Skillshare. Explore your creativity at Skillshare.com/Bill and enjoy a free trial of their premium membership. Again, that's Skillshare.com/Bill.
And shout out to Barbell Brigade. We just restocked all kinds of lifting equipment, wrist wraps, knee sleeves, duffel bags, slides, everything that you need for in and out of the gym. We got you covered. Go to barbellbrigade.com. Last but not least, shout out to our sponsor, Joombi. Right now, we have all kinds of tea bundles coming at you. Go to JoombiShop.com. Use the code BEAW, B-E-A-W, to get 10% off daily serving matcha tins as well as the flavor bundles. Go to JoombiShop.com. Use the code BEAW, B-E-A-W. See you guys next time.
Bye.